Welcome to Dorset. Today we're at Old Harry Rocks and we're here for sunrise. Great to see you all again, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Today you join me at Old Harry Rocks and it's an absolute jewel in the crown of Dorset. It really is a stunning location, one of my absolute favourites here. It's a very, very early start. Was up at 3 this morning to get down here. Sunrise is just a shade after 5. And I thought, judging by the weather forecast, it'd be a good shout for today, but unfortunately they've called it very, very wrong. The forecast was for lots of high level clouds sort of all over, a really good covering, but the shot that we really came down here for, at the moment, it's completely clear sky in front of it. And to be honest, I'm just not feeling that shot. I really want it to have a lot of cloud and some decent colour for it. We've got another option at Old Harry Rocks, and we've got the pinnacles just outside here. And what's going to happen here is the sun's going to come up from the opposite direction and hopefully it's going to cast its light straight onto those pinnacles and make that lovely chalk stack really, really glow up. That's the hope anyway. Now there is a little bit of cloud just behind these and I'm hoping that actually might catch as well. So we're taking a bit of a gamble this morning. It's not the iconic shot that everyone comes down for. I've shot that before and I've got it in much, much better condition. So I don't really want to reshoot that for something that's not quite the same. I'd sooner concentrate on an area that I feel will give us a better result, which is the pinnacles just back here. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting shoot, but we'll see what we can do. Old Harry Rocks is a simply stunning location. As I've said before, it's the jewel in Dorset's crown as far as I'm concerned. I absolutely love it here. And it's steeped in history as well. It's one of these places that was used extensively in World War II for target practice of all things, which is just unthinkable now. But many, many years ago, you'd have Spitfires and Hurricanes using the rock stacks out here as target practice. And there was, you know, bombs, guns, everything shot at them. But amazingly, they're still standing proud. And you know, they look absolutely amazing. As I say, the shot that we're going for today is slightly different from the really well-known shot that everyone sort of got before, but I feel given, you know, the conditions, it's probably our best opportunity. So you know, you've got to play for the strengths really of the conditions that you've got. So we'll see how we get on. It's about 20 minutes till sunrise now, and there's a tiny bit of colour forming just out in front of the traditional shot of Old Harry Rocks. Not a lot, but there's a little bit of cloud, and I could nip over to one of the other ledges and take a shot to the side and maybe capture a little bit of it, but it's not great. There is just a fraction of it in the sky. So I'd sooner take the gamble and stay for this shot here. It may happen, it may not, but if it does, I think this will be infinitely the better shot on the day. So I'm really keen to stay and do this particular one. Old Harry's a fantastic location and it's not actually too hard to get to. Once you're parked up, it involves about a mile and a quarter trek, but it's a very flat ground, nice and easy to do. But a word of warning, if you're taking the road from Corfe Castle to Old Harry Rocks, watch out because there's always loads and loads of deer on there and they do have a habit of coming out right at the last second. So just take a bit of extra care when you're driving down there and watch out for those deer. Well, it's about 20 minutes till sunrise at the moment, and this shot really isn't going to come into play until maybe just a fraction before sunrise when the sun's just starting to peak and hit these clouds up the top here. That's the only time they really colour up. But what we're really waiting for is as the sun breaches the horizon and starts casting its light onto these chalk stacks, bang, they're going to absolutely erupt, hopefully, with colour. I'd really like it if it was some dark, moody cloud behind it. That would look superb, and I have, you know, shot it in the past like that, but we're not going to quite get that today, but we're going to try our best to make do with the conditions we've got, and I'm fairly confident that we should still get a reasonable shot. I'm going to start off with the 24-105, and it's worth mentioning that's a really, really good lens to come to Old Harry with. It tends to cover pretty much all bases down here. I like to take my 100-400 most places I go, but I always leave it when I come here because you just don't need it. There's no real need for it at all, and it's just extra weight in the bag. And as I say, the journey down here, it just makes it that much easier. But yeah, I think 24-105 is a good lens to have at this particular venue. I do bring a wide angle with me as well. I've got a 15-35, and it's possible I will use that to try and incorporate some of these little plants that we've got just on the edges here. There's some good wild flowers about, and it's worth having a go at those. But there is a little bit of wind out here at the moment, so gonna have to wait and see how it pans out and see what we can do. But yeah, fingers crossed we might get a decent one still. Well, I think our gamble is starting to pay off. We've got a nice little bit of colour just forming behind here, and we've got a little bit above the pinnacles as well. It's not amazing, but it's not too bad, and we've still got that bonus of the light coming. So I'm really, really confident we might get some pictures, but I'm going to get shooting because it's really going to be quite short-lived, I think. So I'm going to try and nail something before it all goes. Well, as you can see behind me, there's some absolutely gorgeous colour just above the pinnacles out there. And I'm really confident that we've nailed a really nice shot on it. As I say, it wasn't the first choice shot of the day, but it's turned out to be, you know, the absolutely probably the best choice. Because looking behind, the main shot of Old Harry Rocks, it's just nothing. It's just completely clear. So I'm really, really pleased that we've opted to go for this one. And it looks like we've got a really, really nice, nice sky there as well. I jumped over to the 24-105 and I've cropped in a little bit tighter, and I've done a vertical panorama and a standard panorama as well, just to try and get a few more sort of details on that rock. Not quite sure how they'll come out, but we'll have a look and see how we get on. But yeah, feeling fairly confident that we've nailed a decent shot at least already. So. Well, we've just had the sun just starting to crown on the horizon out there at the moment, so I'm hopeful that this nice light going to hopefully get on these rocks in a second. I had the place pretty much to myself this morning, bar one person, but now there's an absolute load of tourists have just turned up, and that is one of the things at Old Harry. It's a very, very busy venue, and despite sunrise being at 5 o'clock in the morning, people are still very keen to get here. So it's not just photographers that you struggle with, but sunrise is the better time to shoot it. But you know, if you do come for a sunset, it will be very, very busy, but you know, you just have to sort of be lucky with it. But anyway, I'm going to get ready because hopefully we're going to get a nice composition. Get this good sweeping lead line that we've got here with these plants just in the background, and get this light coming up. But I have to really, really watch out for shadows on this one because the sun is going to come up directly behind me. So I might have to go back onto the wide angle, go slightly further down and shoot it. But the one thing that you have to be careful of is if you move too far left or right, the middle pinnacle is hidden behind either the rock stack or the Old Harry Rocks itself. So you have to be kind of really, really selective on your composition with this particular one. So we're just going to have to wait and see what that light does as it comes up, and if it casts light onto those rocks, then we'll have to maneuver to accommodate it. So fingers crossed, we'll get lucky again. Well, the light's just started to come up and it's just started to hit. It's not hit as powerfully as I'd like it to, but it still doesn't look too bad. So I'm hopeful that we should get another shot out of it. But I don't think anything's going to top the colour that we had above it earlier on. That really was the nicest of shots. So I think we've probably had the best of it, and it's really got really busy down here now. So I'm quite pleased to be nailing one and maybe calling it a day afterwards. Well, I think we've got pretty much all we're going to get today. It's been absolutely fantastic down here. The light has been brilliant, but it's all got a little bit too bright now and a little bit too peoply. So I think I'm going to call it time. I'll stick a couple of pictures up. Please do let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. it's been an interesting shoot at Old Harry today. It wasn't the shoot that we came down for. Originally, obviously, we planned to shoot the main shot here of Old Harry Rocks itself, but you know, conditions weren't really there for it. It was a very, very clear sky. It just wouldn't have really been the shoot that we were after, and I felt the pinnacles were a much, much better choice, and I'm really glad that we did that now, because we've got some beautiful colour above it. We got some nice light on there as well. Altogether, not too bad, so I'm really pleased we came out. I really hope you've enjoyed Old Harry Rocks, and don't worry, we'll come back and we'll get the main shot another time. But if you have enjoyed today, please do hit that like button. It really does help the video to get out there. And if you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. It'd be great to have you on board. And don't forget, hit that notification bell and it will let you know when a new video is out. Anyway, that's all from me. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Thanks for watching.